Welcome back to the D4 channel, and today we'll be doing a spoiler review of The Bad Batch, both episode 9 and 10. But before we get to that, please like and subscribe to the D4 channel and click that bell for notifications for every time we upload a video. Please help us get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. That is our New Year's resolution. We're trying to get monetized on YouTube, so please subscribe and hit that bell. Come on, it's free. So, without further ado, let's get to it. We're going to do the Bad Batch spoiler review for episode 9 and 10. So if you haven't seen episode 9 and 10 of season 2 of the Bad Batch, leave now because it is a spoiler review.
She already knows the truth. That's why she's upset.
Alright, so I was going to do an individual spoiler episode for 9 and then 10, but the way 9 ended, it was a 2-episode arc like they've been doing kind of since the beginning of the season, so I decided to just lump them all into one episode, into one spoiler review, because 9 and 10 are basically one long episode, and I kind of wish they released both of them like they did for some of the arcs that had like the conspiracy for the clones and the first two when they started, but they decided to do it once a week, which baffles me because The Mandalorian is coming in about a week, so the Bad Batch and Mandalorian are going to be overlapping each other, but that's neither here or there. We're going to get to 9 and 10. So in Bad Batch, episode 9 and 10, well, specifically episode 9, it starts off with them doing another miscellaneous adventure for Sid. She wants, I believe the mineral is called Ipsium, a very explosive mineral, but a very profitable, a very financially good mineral to get. So Sid sends them to this mining planet where the Bad Batch has to gather these materials. And of course, as we've seen in all of their miscellaneous adventures this season particularly, everything goes bad. They get their ship stolen and they have nowhere off the planet, and now they have to find their way off this planet. They get their Ipsium, they're walking through the planet, and of course, in kind of like an almost Lion King type of thing, these space, I don't even call them deers, kind of come crashing through. They lose the mineral, it blows up because it's highly explosive. A storm is coming and they're trapped in this cave. Now, if you remember from episode 8, they lost Echo, and basically Omega is dealing with that loss. She's losing everything. She lost Camino. She lost her home. The Bad Batch lost Crosshair to the Empire. And they didn't lose Tech, but he decided to do something more important with his life. Which, honestly, the way things are going for the Bad Batch, I think they should have joined Echo. Because I think the Force is trying to tell them all these side adventures that absolutely mean nothing to helping either your brothers or the galaxy in large will end up in failure. And so Omega's going through it, and it's kind of been a season of Tech kind of growing into his own. In season 1, he didn't have much to do. In season 2, they seem to be exploring Tech more, and he tells Omega, like, the Bad Batch was here before Echo came into the squad, and he will be here long after, but that's not what she wants to hear because she lost a member of the squad. She lost one of her family, one of her brothers. And Tech, he kind of reminds me of Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. Very smart. His IQ is one of the highest probably in the galaxy. But his EQ, his emotional IQ, is not very good. And so obviously he says, what's your problem? You know, change is inevitable. And Omega does not want to hear that. So skip all their miscellaneous adventures. He goes to apologize. They get trapped in like this. She goes and finds more Ipsium. Then they get, they fall into like a cavern of ocean water, and they kind of have a heart-to-heart of Tech saying, it's not like this thing doesn't hurt me. Obviously, he lost Crosshair, he's lost Echo. Like, he just processes his emotion differently than the other batch. And it was very nice to see that heart-to-heart conversation. Even though these adventures are kind of trivial, you get a lot of these character developments and arcs with the Bad Batch, which is what carries these episodes. So now going into 10, they're trying to find a way off this planet, and they realize they could track their Gonk droid. And as we see, there is like this mining facility from this Zygerian who's running this child operation where he has children mining the very rare Ipsium. Now, if you don't remember the Zygerians, they were introduced in the Clone Wars. I want to say I believe it was season 4 they were introduced, season 4 or 5. They're basically slavers. And we see a Zygerian here basically having a bunch of child slaves. And the Batch is trying to find their ship. So they track the Gonk. They go there. They meet this kid. I forget his name. Benny, I think his name was Benny, I believe his name was. So they meet Benny, who is voiced, I believe, by the same guy who voices Sasuke and a bunch of other characters in animation. Very, very talented voice actor. So they meet him. They basically say, you're gonna guide us to our ship because we need to get out of here. And of course, the kid is a thief, so he can't really be trusted. But again, he's a kid. He's doing what he needs to do to survive. And we see that the Zagarian leader, Mako, I believe his name was, is a dick. And honestly, there are a few species in this galaxy that I just believe almost all of them are entirely bad. The Trandoshans is one of them, and Zygerians are another one. It's like I have not seen one good Zygerian in the Star Wars universe, and here's another bad one. And so the batch is trying, they find their ship, but everything's kind of taken apart, so they had to take it apart, but they had to get the shield out. So Omega kind of goes with the kid to try to get the shield down, and we kind of see how these kids are living. They're living in terrible conditions, whereas they show a scene where the Zygerians like scarfing down food and fine wine while he's literally letting the kids suffer, and the highest earner gets like this one bowl of food, and the rest of them have to fight for another one bowl of food. So we see that dynamic here of the batch even said this is kind of like how the Empire does the whole galaxy, but on a smaller scale. So it was good to see that this, even though the Empire is the big bad guy, there are still pockets of these evil people taking advantage of the weaker people in the galaxy. And I think that was kind of the point. So we see them go through all of that. Of course, the kid betrays Omega because he wants to rise up the ranks of Mako's BS system. But Omega showing his kindness, giving him rations and all that stuff, kind of softens his heart. And eventually they learn that because Mako told the children that the Iptium is degraded, so it means it'll cost less on the market. So they're all trying to ration their stuff. But as we see, he's not rationing, but he's making the kids get scraps. So when they figure that out, of course, they rebel against the Zygerian leader. They turn on him. Surprisingly, they're on a rail, has guardrails this time. And Benny, I believe, yeah, he tries to save the Zygerian after he falls off the cliff, but of course he doesn't, and the Zygerian falls into the mine and dies. And now the children are free, and Omega is basically telling them, you don't have to stay on this planet. The galaxy is big and wide, but the kid is like, we don't really have any more skills. This is our home, and also mining is what we have. And plus, with the Zygerian leader out of the way, now they can have a fair, equal proportion sharing of the wealth of the rations. So the batch, unintentionally did something very good on this planet by freeing these kids and giving them a choice and a future. And that's how the episode ends. They leave off, and I don't know where these episodes are going to go now, but I really hope that we get into, because we're on episode 10, so I hope we get into the meat of what the batch is trying to do. All these adventures are just telling me, and the batch, which I think is the point of the season, that you're not supposed to be doing this. What Echo went out to do with Captain Rex, that is what they're supposed to do. They have a bigger role in the galaxy, particularly with their clone brothers. So hopefully soon they will figure this out. I don't know how many episodes are in this season. I think rumor is there's about 16 episodes left, so we have 6 weeks. So I hope they speed this up. I love the character development, but I think we pretty much get how the batches are. So let's see them do more important things in the galaxy like they did in the previous 2 episodes with the clone conspiracy and all that. But I did enjoy these episodes. Again, Bad Batch is just a fun Star Wars thing to watch, so I'm not complaining. Both these episodes, I would probably give, well, actually, episode 9, I would give probably a 7 out of 10, and then episode 10, I would give probably 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. But, let me know what you thought of episode 9 and 10 in the comments below. Are some of you liking the kind of Venture of the Week thing that the Bad Batch is doing with some pockets of very important story? Or do you absolutely hate it and you can't wait for Mandalorian? Let me know in the comments below. And again, remember to like and subscribe to the D4 channel for our particular love of Star Wars in this corner of the internet. Please help us get monetized. We're trying to beat the YouTube algorithm, so please do it. It's free, and again, we'll respond to every comment we get. No matter how big we get, that is something we are sticking to. We want to make this a community where we hear your voices and we listen and we respond back. So subscribe to this channel. But from me, Hamid Mark, and my counterpart D, may the force be with you. always.